Welcome back to Tina Romance Library, where powerful alphas fall hard, and the women they underestimate change everything. Every story here is complete, immersive, and emotion-driven. No cliffhangers, no rushed endings, just full romances you can sink into. So if you love possessive alphas, strong heroines who don't beg, slow burn tension, emotional payoffs, and stories that actually finish, you're in the right place. I need you to join the pack right now by subscribing. Leave a like if you enjoy immersive romance, and settle in because once the story begins, we don't stop until the ending. Now, let's get into it. The snow doesn't fall gently up here in the mountains. It comes down like tiny blades of ice, sharp enough to sting your face, cold enough to make your lungs burn with every breath. Tonight it's falling so thick, I can barely see the tree line from my cabin window. And the wind god. The wind sounds like it's screaming, like it's angry at the world. Or maybe that's just me projecting. I pull the threadbare blanket tighter around my shoulders and watch the fire flicker in the stone hearth, the only light in this place I've called home for the past 3 years. Home, that's generous. It's more like a shelter. 4 walls, a roof that mostly doesn't leak, and enough space to keep the cold from crawling completely into my bones. But it's mine. That's what matters. No one can take it from me. No one can tell me I don't belong here. Because no pack wanted me. Let me say that again. Let it sink in the way it sank into my soul the 4th time I was rejected. No pack wanted me. I'm an Omega, which should have made me valuable, cherished even. Omegas are supposed to be the heart of a pack, the ones who soothe tensions and bring balance. But here's the thing they don't tell you in all those romantic stories about fated mates and pack bonds. Some Omegas are just wrong. Too quiet, too broken, too scarred by whatever came before. That's me. I'm the Omega who didn't fit the mold. Too independent, they said. Too guarded. One alpha told me I had walls thicker than fortress stone. Another said my scent was muddled, like I was fighting my own nature. The last pack didn't even bother with explanations. They just looked at me with pity and told me to leave before the next full moon. So I stopped wanting them back. I stopped dreaming about belonging somewhere, about having a pack that would protect me, about finding a mate who'd look at me like I was their entire world. I learned to chop my own wood, set my own traps, stitch my own wounds when I got careless. I learned that loneliness isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. Being somewhere you're not wanted, that's worse. The fire pops, sending a spray of sparks up the chimney, and I'm about to turn away from the window when I hear it. Footsteps. Heavy. Deliberate. Not the light crunch of deer hooves or the scurrying of rabbits. These are purposeful, and they're headed straight for my cabin. My heart kicks into overdrive. That primal instinct every shifter has screaming at me to run, hide, fight something. But I'm frozen at the window, my breath fogging the glass as I strain to see through the snow and darkness. Then I see them. Yes. 4 sets of glowing eyes, amber and bright, cutting through the storm like headlights. They're spaced apart, surrounding my cabin in a loose semicircle, and they're not moving, just watching, waiting. My wolf stirs inside me for the first time in weeks, uncurling from the quiet place where she's been sleeping. She's not afraid. That should terrify me, but instead, there's this strange pull in my chest, like a string tied around my ribs is being tugged from the outside. It doesn't hurt, but it's insistent, demanding. I press my palm against the cold glass, my pulse thundering in my ears loud enough to drown out the wind. Every instinct I've honed over 3 years of solitude is telling me to grab my knife, bar the door, shift, and run out the back into the forest. But I can't move. Because beneath the fear, and there is fear, cold and sharp, there's something else. Recognition. Not the kind where you know someone's face. Deeper than that. Older. Like my soul just whispered. There you are. I've been waiting. The growls start low, rumbling through the night like distant thunder. Not aggressive, not yet, but a warning. A statement. We're here. We know you're in there. And we're not leaving. One set of eyes moves closer, separating from the others, bigger, brighter, and the pull in my chest intensifies until I have to bite my lip to keep from gasping out loud. "Who are you?" I whisper to the glass, to the storm, to whatever fate has just landed on my doorstep in the middle of the worst blizzard this mountain's seen in years. The eyes don't answer. They just stare and stare. And I realize with a certainty that makes my knees weak, everything is about to change. Mornings up here start before the sun even thinks about rising. That's not poetry, that's survival. If I don't get the fire going early, the water in my kettle freezes solid. And if the water freezes, I can't make tea. And if I can't make tea, the whole day is already ruined. Small comforts matter when you're living alone on a mountain that wants you dead half the year. I've got a routine. Routines keep you sane when there's no one to talk to but yourself and the occasional raven that lands on the porch railing like it's judging my life choices. First, chop wood. My pile's getting low, and winter's only halfway done. I drag myself out of bed, pull on 3 layers because the cold up here isn't a suggestion, and head out to the woodpile with my axe. The rhythm is meditative lift, swing, split. Lift, swing, split. My muscles burn. My breath comes out in white clouds, but I don't mind. Physical pain is simple. It doesn't ask questions or make you feel like you're not enough. Second, check the traps. I've got 6 set up in a perimeter around the cabin, mostly for rabbits and the occasional fox. I'm not a great hunter in my wolf form, too small, too slow compared to full-blooded shifters, but I'm decent with traps. Patient. I've learned that waiting pays off more than chasing. Today, there's a rabbit in the 3rd trap. I kneel in the snow, whisper a quiet thank you the way my mother taught me before she died, and reset the snare. Waste nothing. Respect everything. Those were her words, and they've kept me alive. Third, come back, skin and clean whatever I've caught, and try not to think too hard about how quiet it is. That's the hardest part. The quiet. I talk to the kettle sometimes. I'll admit it. I'll tell it about my day, ask it what it thinks I should do with the rabbit stew or roast, and then I'll laugh at myself because I've officially lost it. But laughter's better than crying, and I've done enough of that to last a lifetime. I'm not completely isolated. Once a month, I hike down to the trading post at the base of the mountain to swap furs and herbs for supplies. Salt, flour, matches. The humans who run the place don't ask questions, which I appreciate. They don't care that I'm a shifter living alone. They just care that my pelts are good quality. Sometimes, though, I see them. Couples, mates, holding hands while they browse the shelves, stealing kisses when they think no one's looking. And there's this ache in my chest that I've gotten very good at ignoring. I tell myself I don't want that. I tell myself I'm better off alone, that I don't need someone to look at me like I hung the moon, that I don't dream about strong arms around me or a voice whispering my name like it's sacred. But here's the truth I don't say out loud. I notice every single couple. I watch the way he touches the small of her back, the way she leans into him like he's her gravity. And I wonder just for a second, just a heartbeat, what it would feel like to be wanted like that. Then I shove it down, buy my supplies, and hike back up the mountain where it's safe to be alone. Because wanting things you can't have, that's a different kind of trap. And I've already been caught in enough of those to know better. They don't leave. All through the night, I feel them circling, not pacing like caged animals, nothing frantic or wild about it. This is deliberate, methodical, like they're establishing a perimeter, claiming territory, and the territory they're claiming is me. I should be terrified. Any sane shifter living alone would be. 4 wolves outside your door in the middle of nowhere, in the dead of winter, when no one would hear you scream? That's a nightmare scenario. That's how people disappear and become cautionary tales whispered around pack fires. But I'm not screaming. I'm standing at the window with my hand pressed against the glass, watching shadows move through the snow like ghosts. And my heart is doing this strange, stuttering thing that has nothing to do with fear. My wolf is awake, fully awake, and she hasn't been this alert, this present, since the last rejection. She's pushing against my skin from the inside, not trying to break free but wanting to be closer to the surface, wanting to see them. to understand what they want. What do they want? The wind has died down enough that I can make out shapes now. They're massive, bigger than any wolves I've seen, which means they're not just shifters, they're powerful ones. Alphas, probably. My throat goes dry at the thought. What would 4 alphas want with a rejected omega living in the middle of nowhere? Nothing good. The logical part of my brain supplies that answer immediately. Maybe they're rogues. Maybe they're looking for easy prey. Maybe I'm about to become a statistic. But then why haven't they attacked? It's been hours. The moon has arced across the sky and they've just circled, sometimes close enough that I can hear their breathing through the cabin walls, deep and steady. Sometimes farther out, disappearing into the tree line before emerging again in a different spot. They're coordinated, working together, which means they're not rogues at all. They're a pack, and they're hunting me. Except they're not. Because hunters don't wait. Hunters don't circle for hours without moving in for the kill. So what are they doing? I'm about to pull away from the window, my neck is cramping, and the fire needs another log when one of them steps fully into the clearing. My breath catches. He's enormous. Easily the largest of the 4, with fur so dark it's almost black, though the moonlight catches hints of deep gray along his shoulders and spine. His eyes, God. His eyes are fixed directly on the window, directly on me. Amber, liquid gold, burning with an intensity that makes my knees weak. I should look away. Every survival instinct I have is screaming at me to step back from the window, to hide, to make myself small and uninteresting. But I can't. I'm locked in his gaze like a rabbit in a snare. And the strangest thing is, I don't want to look away. My wolf whines. Actually whines, like a lovesick pup. And I mentally shove her down because absolutely not. We are not doing this. We are not getting attached to the enormous predator standing outside our cabin in the middle of the night. But she's not listening. She's focused entirely on him, and I can feel her longing like a physical ache in my chest. It's been so long since she's felt drawn to anyone, since she's felt anything but resigned numbness, and now she's practically vibrating with need. The wolf, the alpha, because there's no way he's anything else, tilts his head slightly. It's such a human gesture that it catches me off guard. He's studying me the way I'm studying him, and there's something in his posture that isn't threatening. It's curious, almost gentle. Who are you? I think, and for a wild moment, I swear I see recognition flash in those golden eyes. Like he heard me, like the distance between us doesn't matter. The pull in my chest intensifies, that invisible string yanking hard enough now that I gasp and press my other hand against my ribs. It feels like a hook behind my breastbone, reeling me in, and my wolf is surging forward, begging me to open the door, to go to him, No. I tear my gaze away with physical effort, stumbling back from the window so fast I nearly trip over my own feet. My heart is hammering, my hands are shaking, and I can still feel his eyes on me even though I'm no longer looking. This is insane, I whisper to the empty cabin, to myself, to whatever deity might be listening. You're losing your mind. They're going to kill you. And you're standing there making moon eyes at them like some naive little... A howl cuts through the night, low and mournful and so hauntingly beautiful that it stops my spiral dead. It's coming from him, the black wolf, and it's not a threat. It's a call, and my wolf wants to answer. I clamp my jaw shut so hard my teeth ache, fighting the urge rising in my throat. I will not howl back. I will not engage. I will not give them any indication that I'm affected by this bizarre standoff. But my chest is aching, and my eyes are burning, and some traitorous part of me wants to fling open the door and demand to know what they want from me, why they're here, why he's looking at me like I'm something precious instead of something disposable. The howl fades. The night goes quiet except for the crackling fire and my ragged breathing. I don't go back to the window. I curl up on my bed still fully dressed, knife under my pillow, and stare at the ceiling, listening to the sound of paws crunching through snow, circling and circling and circling. I don't sleep, but I don't feel afraid either. I feel something much more dangerous. I feel seen. Dawn comes gray and cold, the kind of pale light that makes everything look washed out and exhausted. I feel the same way, wrung out, running on nerves and stubbornness. I must have dozed off at some point because I startle awake to silence. Complete silence. No pacing, no pause in the snow, no breathing from the other side of the walls. They're gone. I should feel relieved. Instead, there's this hollow disappointment in my gut that I absolutely refuse to examine too closely. I swing my legs out of bed, wince at the cold floor against my bare feet, and pad over to the window. The clearing is empty, just snow, trees, and the gray morning light making everything look like a faded photograph. No massive wolves, no glowing eyes. For a moment, I wonder if I hallucinated the entire thing, some kind of isolation-induced psychosis brought on by too many months alone. But then I see the tracks. They're everywhere, overlapping circles in the snow, paths worn down by repeated pacing, and I freeze. There's something at the base of my porch steps. My heart kicks into gear as I grab my coat, shove my feet into boots, and cautiously open the door. The cold hits me like a slap, but I barely notice because I'm staring at what they left. 3 rabbits, already skinned and cleaned, laid out neatly on a flat stone I use as a doorstep in the summer. The meat is fresh, still slightly warm, which means this was done recently, within the last hour. They hunted for me. I crouch down, my fingers hovering over the offering without touching it, and I don't know what to feel. Anger, maybe. I don't need anyone hunting for me. I've been taking care of myself just fine, thank you very much. But beneath the knee-jerk irritation, there's something else. Something warm and terrifying unfurling in my chest. They provided for me. Protected me all night, circled my cabin to keep threats away, and then made sure I'd have food when I woke up. That's not predator behavior. That's pack behavior. That's what alphas do for their pack members. For their omega. No, I say out loud, shaking my head hard enough to make myself dizzy. Absolutely not. We are not going there. I snatch up the rabbits, waste nothing, respect everything, and carry them inside, kicking the door shut behind me perhaps harder than necessary. I drop them on my small counter and pace the length of the cabin, which takes about 5 seconds because it's barely bigger than a closet. This doesn't make sense. Packs don't just, show up. They don't claim strays. They certainly don't waste resources on omegas that other packs have already rejected. There's no logical reason for them to be here, to watch over me, to hunt for me. Unless, my wolf perks up at the thought before I've even fully formed it, and I shove her down again because we are not entertaining romantic notions about fated mates and destiny and all that garbage that only exists in stories. But what if? What if that's exactly what this is? I've heard about it, of course. The pull, the recognition, the way your wolf knows before your human brain catches up. Some shifters spend their entire lives searching for it, and some stumble into it when they least expect it. And apparently, some get 4 massive alphas showing up outside their cabin in the middle of a blizzard. This is insane, I mutter, starting to prep the rabbits for cooking because my hands need something to do. You don't even know them. They could be anyone. They could want anything. But my wolf is humming now, content in a way she hasn't been in years, and that terrifies me more than anything else. Because I didn't ask for saving. I didn't ask for protection or provision or whatever this is. I learned to survive alone because that was the only option left after every pack told me I wasn't worth keeping. And now they're trying to change that. Whoever they are, whatever they want, they're trying to tell me I'm worth protecting, worth feeding, worth circling all night in the snow to keep safe. I slide the rabbits into my pot with some herbs and melted snow, set it over the fire, and sink down onto the floor with my back against the wall. My heart is leaning toward them. Toward him, the black wolf with the golden eyes who looked at me like I mattered. And that's the most dangerous thing of all. Because once you start leaning, once you start wanting, once you start believing that maybe you're not as unwanted as you thought, that's when they can hurt you. That's when the fall breaks you completely. But the rabbits are cooking, filling my cabin with warmth and the smell of home. And outside in the snow, there are tracks that prove I didn't dream them. They were here. They're real. and some treacherous part of me is already wondering when they'll come back. They come back at dusk. I'm outside when it happens, hauling water from the creek because the snow I've been melting isn't enough anymore. The bucket is heavy, my shoulders are screaming, and I'm mentally cursing my past self for picking a cabin so far from a reliable water source when I hear it. Footsteps. Human footsteps. I drop the bucket, water sloshing over the sides, and spin around so fast I nearly lose my footing on the icy ground. My hand goes automatically to the knife at my belt's small, probably useless against shifters, but it makes me feel less helpless. 4 men emerge from the tree line. Not wolves. Men. And calling them men feels inadequate because there's something more. Something other. They move with a predator's grace, completely unbothered by the cold, despite wearing only jeans and dark shirts that cling to frames built for violence. Muscles upon muscles, broad shoulders, and a presence that makes the air feel thicker. The one in front stops about 15 feet away, holding up both hands in a gesture of peace. "Easy," he says, and his voice, his voice is like whiskey and smoke, deep enough to feel in my chest. "We're not here to hurt you." I keep my hand on the knife. That's exactly what someone who's here to hurt me would say. His mouth quirks. Not quite a smile, but close. "Fair point. This is him, the Black Wolf." I know it before he says another word because those eyes, amber, burning, impossibly focused, are exactly the same. He's looking at me the way he did through the window, like I'm a puzzle he's trying to solve, and I hate how much I want to let him. He's stunning in a way that feels almost cruel. Sharp jawline, dark hair that's slightly too long, falling into his eyes, and a face that's all hard angles and controlled power. The kind of beautiful that makes you forget how to breathe. The other 3 hang back, flanking him in a loose formation that's protective without being aggressive. They're all attractive, annoyingly so, but my attention keeps snapping back to the one in front. "My name is Kale," he says, and the way he says it feels important, like he's offering me something valuable. "Kale Thorne, Alpha of the Nightshade Pack. These are my brothers, pack brothers," he clarifies when my eyebrows shoot up. "Declan, Finn, and Reese." They each nod when their name is called. Declan is the biggest, built like he could uproot trees for fun, with bronze skin and dark eyes that assess me clinically. Finn is leaner, with auburn hair and a face that looks like it smiles often, though he's serious now. Reese is somewhere in between, quiet and watchful, with scars running down the left side of his neck. Nightshade Pack, I repeat, buying time while my brain tries to catch up. I've heard of them. Everyone has. They're one of the most powerful packs in the Northern Territories, notoriously private, led by an Alpha King who supposedly— Oh no. "You're the king," I say, and it's not a question. Kale inclines his head slightly. "I am." My mouth goes dry. The Alpha King of the Nightshade Pack is standing in my clearing, looking at me like I'm not a nobody Omega living in a falling-apart cabin, looking at me like I matter. This is bad. This is so much worse than I thought. "What do you want?" The words come out sharper than I intend, defensive, and I see something flicker in his expression. Hurt, maybe, or understanding. "To talk," he says simply. "To introduce ourselves properly. You've been alone up here for a long time, and we thought—" He pauses, seeming to choose his words carefully. "We thought you might want to know you don't have to be anymore." My heart does something complicated. I didn't ask for company. "No," he agrees. "You didn't. And if you tell us to leave, we will. We're not here to force anything." His eyes hold mine, and I feel pinned in place by the intensity there. "But we're not leaving until you hear us out, until you understand what we're offering." "And what's that?" "A choice." The word hangs in the cold air between us. A choice. Not a command, not an expectation, not a, "You'll do this because I'm Alpha and you'll obey." A choice. I should tell them to leave. Every ounce of self-preservation I've developed over the last 3 years is screaming at me to send them away before this gets complicated, before I start hoping again. But I don't. "I'm listening," I say instead, and Kale's expression softens in a way that makes my stomach flip. "Can we come closer?" he asks. "I'd rather not shout this across your clearing." I hesitate, then nod once. My grip loosens on the knife, though I don't take my hand off it completely. They approach slowly, respectfully, stopping when they're about 6 feet away, close enough to talk normally, close enough that I can smell them pine and earth, and something wild that makes my wolf sit up and take notice all over again. Kale's eyes haven't left my face. "You're Omega," he says, and it's not a question, but I nod anyway. Rejected. Multiple times. If the walls you've built are any indication. My jaw tightens. "Is there a point to this?" "The point," he says, voice gentling, "is that they were idiots. Every single pack that turned you away. Every single alpha who didn't see what was right in front of them." I bark out a laugh, bitter and sharp. "You don't even know me." "I know enough." He takes a half step closer, and I should back up, but I don't. "I know you survived up here alone through 3 winters. I know you're strong enough to provide for yourself and stubborn enough to refuse help even when you need it. I know your wolf recognized us the same way ours recognized you." My breath catches. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," Kale murmurs, and his voice drops lower, intimate, meant only for me even though his pack brothers are right there, "that we've been looking for you. Not you specifically, we didn't know you existed. But we've been searching for the piece that's missing. The one who'll balance us, complete us. An Omega," I whisper. "Our Omega," he corrects. "If you'll have us." The world tilts. My body is reacting in ways I can't control. Pulse racing, skin flushing, wolf practically howling with joy. This is what every Omega is supposed to want. A pack, alphas who want you, protection and belonging and... But I've been burned before. So many times. "You don't know me," I repeat, and my voice cracks on the last word. "You don't know what you're asking for. I'm not what you think I am. I'm broken. Every pack that rejected me saw it. There's something wrong with me." Kale's expression turns fierce. "There is nothing wrong with you. You can't know that." "I can." He moves closer still, and this time I do step back, my shoulders hitting the cabin wall. He stops immediately, giving me space, but his eyes are burning. I can feel it, right here. He presses his fist against his chest. "My wolf knows. We all know. You're ours. You've always been ours. We were just too damn slow to find you." Finn speaks up for the first time, his voice lighter, but no less sincere. "We're not asking you to trust us immediately. We know that's not fair. We're asking for a chance," Declan adds, his deep rumble surprisingly gentle. Reese just nods, silent, but his eyes echo the same sentiment. I look at each of them in turn, then back to Kale. The hope in his expression is almost painful to witness, like I have the power to destroy him with a single word. Maybe I do. "Stay for dinner," I hear myself say, and I'm as shocked as they look. Just dinner, and then we'll talk." Kale's face transforms. The smile that breaks across his features is devastating. Genuine joy that makes him look younger, less like a king and more like a man who just got exactly what he wanted. "We'd be honored," he says softly. "And despite every wall I've built, despite every reason I have to protect myself, I feel something crack open in my chest. Something that feels dangerously like hope. Dinner was supposed to be simple, quick. A meal and a conversation, and then they'd leave and I could process whatever this was in private. That was 4 days ago. They haven't left. To be fair, I didn't exactly ask them to. After that first night after we ate rabbit stew and they asked careful questions while I gave careful answers, Kale noticed the way my roof was sagging in one corner. Mentioned casually that it probably wouldn't survive another heavy snow. I bristled. "I know, I've been meaning to fix it." "When?" Declan asked, not unkindly. "Before or after it collapses on you while you're sleeping?" I glared at him. He shrugged, completely unbothered. "Let us help," Finn offered. "We're here anyway. Might as well make ourselves useful." That's how it started. One small repair job that turned into 2, then 3. Then suddenly they were staying in wolf form in the clearing at night and working on my cabin during the day. And I was too proud to admit how much I needed the help and too confused about my feelings to ask them to stop. They're efficient, annoyingly so. Declan can chop wood faster than should be physically possible. He makes it look effortless, his axe coming down in perfect rhythm, and my woodpile has tripled in size. When I try to thank him, he just grunts and moves on to splitting more. Finn fixed my roof in half a day, somehow sourcing materials from God knows where, chattering the entire time about proper construction techniques and how my original builder must have been drunk or blind or both. His humor is relentless, finding something to tease me about every few hours. "This is a death trap," he announced cheerfully while examining the support beams. "You're aware of that, right? This isn't charming rustic living. This is a suicide attempt with extra steps." I threw a piece of bark at his head. He caught it without looking and grinned at me. Reese has been reinforcing the walls, his hands steady and sure. He doesn't talk much. I've heard maybe 20 words from him total, but he watches everything. Notices when I'm getting tired before I do. Leaves water within arm's reach. Small gestures that shouldn't matter as much as they do. And Kale watches me constantly. Not in a creepy way. It's attentive. Like he's learning me. Memorizing the way I move, the things I do, the moments when I'm most comfortable versus when I'm hiding discomfort. He brings me food without being asked, not hunted kills, but carefully prepared portions of whatever they're cooking over their fire in the clearing. He asks before entering my space. Thanks me for things I haven't done. Treats me like I'm precious. It's terrifying. "Your foundation is shot on the east side," Kale says now, crouching near the base of the cabin. We're outside, the afternoon sun actually making an appearance for once, and he's inspecting damage I've been ignoring for months. "I'm aware," I say, arms crossed. He glances up at me, and there's that look again, the one that makes my stomach flip. "Let me fix it. You've already done too much." There's no such thing as too much when it comes to making sure you're safe. My heart does something stupid. You barely know me. I'm working on that. He stands, brushing snow off his jeans, and moves closer. Not crowding, just near. "You could help me out, though. Tell me things." "What things?" "Anything. Everything." "What's your favorite color? What did you do before you came up here? Do you like your tea sweet or bitter? What makes you smile?" I blink at him. "You're asking me about tea?" "I'm asking about you," he corrects. "All of you. The big things and the small things and everything in between." There's something in his voice, genuine curiosity mixed with longing, that cracks another piece of my armor. "Green," I say quietly. "My favorite color is green, like the forest in summer." His smile is soft. "Mine's gold. That's not a color, that's a metal. Gold like your eyes when the firelight hits them just right," he murmurs. And oh, that's not fair. I'm saved from having to respond by Finn's voice calling from the roof. "Kale, come look at this. I think there's rot in the..." "Yep, definitely rot. This whole section needs replacing." Kale sighs, but there's fondness in it. Duty calls. He heads toward the cabin, and I'm left standing in the snow, my face warm despite the cold, trying to remember all the reasons I shouldn't let myself fall for this. For them. But it's getting harder to remember. Because they're fixing my death trap cabin. They're making sure I have enough food for winter. They're treating me like I belong to them, like I'm worth the effort. And my wolf is singing with happiness for the first time in years. And I'm terrified. Because what happens when they see the broken parts? What happens when they realize I'm not what they thought? What happens when they leave like everyone else did? Inside the cabin, I hear them laughing about something. Declan's deep rumble, Finn's bright bark, Reese's quiet huff, and Kale's warm chuckle underneath it all. They sound like family. They sound like home. And I'm so afraid to believe it might be mine. The cabin feels smaller with 5 people in it. That's what I tell myself anyway. It's not that I'm hyper-aware of every movement they make. It's not that my skin prickles when one of them passes too close. It's just physics, basic spatial dynamics. 4 massive alphas and 1 omega in a space barely big enough for one person means everything feels compressed, crowded, intimate. I'm making stew again, Because it's practical and I can stretch it to feed everyone when Kale appears at my elbow. I didn't hear him approach. I never do. For someone his size, he moves like smoke. Need help? He asks. I've been cooking for myself for 3 years. I think I can handle it. I know you can. His voice is warm, almost amused. I'm asking if you want help, not the same thing. I glance at him sideways, trying not to notice how good he looks in the firelight. All golden skin and dark hair and those eyes that seem to see straight through every defense I've ever built. Fine. You can chop the carrots. He takes the knife I offer, his fingers brushing mine for half a second. It's nothing, barely contact, but my wolf perks up like he just caressed her, and I have to focus very hard on stirring the pot to keep my expression neutral. We work in silence for a few minutes. The only sounds are the crackling fire, the knife against the cutting board, and the wind outside. It should be awkward cooking with someone I barely know, in a space so small our shoulders keep almost touching, but it's not. It feels natural. Easy. Like we've done this 1,000 times before. You're good at this, I say, watching him dice carrots with surprising precision. My mother insisted we all learn to cook, said she didn't raise helpless sons. There's affection in his voice, tinged with old grief. She died when I was 16. Sometimes I cook her recipes just to remember. My chest tightens. I'm sorry. Don't be. She lived well. Died protecting the pack during a rogue attack. She would have been proud of that. He scrapes the carrots into the pot, then leans against the counter beside me, close enough that I can feel his warmth. Your mother taught you to cook too. I can tell by the way you move. There's love in it. I swallow hard. She died when I was 14. Illness. Nothing dramatic or heroic. Just gone one morning. Loss is loss, Kale says quietly. Doesn't matter how it happens. It still leaves a hole. I nod, not trusting my voice. His hand comes up slowly, telegraphing the movement, and settles on my shoulder, just resting there, solid and warm and grounding. You honor her by surviving. By being strong enough to build a life up here alone. She'd be proud of you. The tears come before I can stop them, hot and immediate and mortifying. I duck my head, trying to hide, but Kale makes a soft sound and turns me toward him. His hands frame my face, thumbs brushing away tears with a gentleness that absolutely destroys me. None of that, he murmurs. You're allowed to miss her. You're allowed to feel. I don't cry. I manage. Which is a stupid thing to say when I'm actively crying. Everyone cries. His smile is sad, understanding. Even kings. I let myself lean into his touch for just a moment, just one stolen second of comfort before pulling back. It's too much, too intimate, too dangerous. But the look in his eyes says he noticed, says he's filing it away, learning what I need even when I won't ask for it. Finn bounds through the door right then, bringing a gust of cold air and blessed distraction. Something smells amazing. Please tell me there's enough for me because I'm starving and Declan ate all the jerky. I ate half the jerky, Declan corrects, following him in with Reese behind. You ate the rest and blamed me. Details. Finn grins at me, then his eyes sharpen, catching the tear tracks on my face. His expression shifts, going soft. You okay? Fine, I say quickly. Too quickly. Just onions. We're making stew, Kale says evenly, backing up my lie even though there are no onions. Everyone grab a bowl. The moment passes, but the awareness doesn't. We eat crowded around my small table, which wasn't built for 5 people, and I'm wedged between Kale and Reese, hyper-aware of every point of contact. Kale's thigh pressed against mine, Reese's shoulder brushing my arm when he reaches for bread. The way Finn's foot keeps tapping against mine under the table, probably by accident, but it still sends little sparks of awareness up my spine. I've been alone for so long that I forgot what it's like to be surrounded by people, by warmth, by the easy comfort of shared space and shared meals, by desire, because that's what this is, underneath the domesticity, want, raw and insistent and getting harder to ignore. Every accidental touch feels deliberate. Every time one of them looks at me, I feel it like a physical caress. And Kale's gaze is heavy tonight, dark, hungry in a way that has nothing to do with the stew. He's looking at me like he wants to devour me, like he's holding himself back through sheer force of will. And the worst part is, I want to let him. I want to lean into it, into him, into all of them. But this is temporary. It has to be. They'll finish fixing the cabin and then they'll realize I'm not worth staying for. They'll go back to their pack, their real lives, and I'll be alone again. I can survive alone. I've proven that. I'm not sure I can survive getting attached and then losing this. So I keep my eyes on my bowl and tell myself the ache in my chest is just indigestion. It's a lie. We both know it. It happens on the 6th day. I'm outside checking the traps when I catch a scent on the wind. Wolf. Male. Unknown. My entire body goes tense, and my hand moves automatically to the knife at my belt. The tree line is quiet, but I know someone's there, watching. A wolf emerges slowly from the shadows, young, maybe 2 or 3 years old, with gray fur and yellow eyes. He's lean, probably a scout or a lone wolf looking for territory. He stops about 30 feet away, head lowered in a non-threatening posture, but his attention is fixed directly on me. On my omega scent, my wolf bristles. This is my territory. Mine. And the way he's looking at me assessing, considering makes my skin crawl. I'm about to shift, about to show him exactly why approaching a lone omega is a terrible idea when I feel him. Kyle. He doesn't make a sound, doesn't announce himself. One moment I'm alone, and the next he's there, sliding between me and the scout with fluid grace. His back is to me, his body a wall of muscle and barely restrained violence, and the energy rolling off him is suffocating. Pure, dominant. Alpha. The temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. Kale doesn't shift, doesn't need to. He just stands there in human form, utterly still, and the threat is unmistakable. The scout's eyes widen, his ears flattening against his skull, and he takes several quick steps backward. Then Kyle growls. It's low, subsonic, the kind of sound you feel in your bones rather than hear. It's a warning, a promise, and a death sentence all rolled into one, and it says very clearly, leave, now, or I will end you. The scout doesn't need to be told twice. He turns and bolts, disappearing into the forest so fast he's just a gray blur. The silence that follows is deafening. I'm frozen in place, my heart hammering, and I can't tell if it's from the threat or from the way Kale just defended me without hesitation, without asking, like it was the most natural thing in the world, like I'm his to protect. He turns slowly, and the look on his face makes my breath catch. His eyes are pure amber now, wolf pushed so close to the surface they're practically glowing, and there's something wild in his expression. Possessive, claiming. Are you all right? His voice is rougher than usual, strained with the effort of maintaining control. I nod, not trusting my voice. Did he touch you? Threaten you? No. He just looked. He looked at you, Kale repeats. And the way he says it like that alone is a crime, punishable by death, sends a shiver down my spine. He came into your territory and looked at you like he had any right. Kale. No. He takes a step closer, his hands clenched into fists at his sides, and I can see how hard he's fighting not to reach for me. No one gets to look at you like that. No one gets to assess you, consider you, wonder if you're available. You're not. You're... He cuts himself off, jaw clenching, and the unfinished sentence hangs between us like a live wire. You're mine. He doesn't say it, doesn't have to. It's written in every tense line of his body, in the way he's still positioned between me and where the scout disappeared, in the possessive fury burning in his eyes. I should be angry. I should tell him he doesn't get to make that decision for me, that I'm not anyone's property, that I've been taking care of myself just fine without a territorial alpha scaring off random wolves. But I'm not angry. I'm breathless, because some primal part of me, the omega part that I've spent years trying to suppress, is singing, preening, celebrating the fact that this powerful alpha just made it very clear that I'm under his protection, that he'll fight for me, that he sees me as his. I can take care of myself, I say, but it comes out weak, unconvincing. I know you can. Kale's voice gentles slightly, though the intensity doesn't leave his eyes. That's not why I stepped in. I stepped in because you shouldn't have to. Not anymore. Not when I'm here. You won't always be here. Something flashes across his face. Hurt. Determination. What if I want to be? Call. What if I want to stay? What if I want to make sure no lone wolf ever looks at you like that again? What if I want to stand between you and every threat, every danger, every moment of loneliness you've endured up here? He takes another step closer, and I should back up, but I'm rooted in place. What if I want to be yours? My throat is tight. You don't mean that. I've never meant anything more in my life. The world narrows to just us, just this moment, just the way he's looking at me like I'm everything he's ever wanted and he's terrified I'll disappear. Footsteps approach Declan, Finn, and Reese emerging from the cabin, drawn by the commotion, but neither of us looks away. What happened? Declan asks, voice sharp. Scout, Kale says without taking his eyes off me. He's gone. He won't come back, Finn adds, and there's dark satisfaction in his tone. Not after that display. Pretty sure he pissed himself. Good, Reese mutters, but I'm barely hearing them. I'm too focused on Kyle, on the way his chest is heaving like he just ran a marathon, on the barely leashed need in his expression. He wants to touch me. I can see it. The way his fingers keep flexing, the way he's swaying slightly forward like he's being pulled by an invisible string. The same string that's pulling me toward him. I start, then realize I don't know how to finish that sentence. Should what? Thank him? Push him away? Close the distance between us and see what happens? You should let us protect you, Kale says quietly. You should let us stay. You should stop fighting this thing between us and just let it be. I'm scared, I whisper, and I hate how small my voice sounds. His expression softens. So am I. That admission that this powerful alpha king is scared too cracks something open in my chest. Makes me feel less alone in my terror. I need time, I manage. Take all you need. He finally moves, but only to step back, giving me space even though I can see how much it costs him. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here, fixing your cabin, hunting, protecting, waiting, however long it takes. The others nod in agreement, a united front, and the devotion in their eyes is almost too much to bear. They mean it. They're actually willing to wait, to prove themselves, to earn my trust instead of demanding it. No one's ever done that before. Okay, I breathe. Okay. Kale's smile is like sunrise, slow, warm, beautiful. Okay. And as we head back to the cabin together, him still positioned slightly in front of me like he can't quite shut off the protective instinct, I realize something terrifying. I'm already claimed. He hasn't said the words, hasn't marked me or bonded me or made it official, but in every way that matters, I'm already his. We're already theirs. And that scares me more than anything else ever has. They come 3 days after the scout incident, and I know who they are before they even break through the tree line. I'm hauling firewood when I catch the scent achingly familiar, laced with memories I've spent 3 years trying to forget. Pine and leather and arrogance. The Blackridge pack. My stomach drops, but I don't run. I stack the wood carefully against the cabin wall, brush the bark from my hands and wait, because running never helped before. And I'm done being afraid. 3 of them emerge, all enforcers, built for intimidation with their thick necks and scarred knuckles and eyes that have seen violence and enjoyed it. I recognize Marcus immediately, tall, blonde, with a sneer that seems permanently etched into his features. He was the one who delivered my final rejection from Blackridge, the one who told me I'd never survive alone, that I was too weak, too broken, too wrong to make it without a pack. The other 2 flank him like well-trained dogs. One I don't remember. The other is Seth, who used to find excuses to bump into me, to stand too close, to let his eyes linger in ways that made my skin crawl. "Well, well," Marcus says, his voice carrying across the clearing. "The little Omega's still alive. Color me surprised." I don't respond. Don't give him the satisfaction. They approach slowly, taking in the repaired cabin, the full wood pile, the clear signs that I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. Marcus's eyes narrow. "You're looking healthy," he says, and there's accusation in it, like my survival is somehow an insult to his predictions. "Found yourself a provider, did you? Some desperate alpha willing to take in damaged goods?" My jaw tightens, but I keep my expression neutral. I've spent 3 years learning to control my reactions, to not give people ammunition. "What do you want, Marcus?" "What I want?" He laughs, cold and sharp. "I want to know what the hell you think you're doing on our territory. This isn't Blackridge territory. This is neutral ground, has been for decades. Neutral ground that borders our land. Close enough that your scent drifts down the mountain." Seth speaks up, his eyes roaming over me in a way that makes my wolf snarl. "Been causing problems. Got our alphas asking questions about who's living up here, making us look bad that we let an Omega wander off alone." "You didn't let me do anything," I say, voice cold. "You threw me out, there's a difference. We gave you mercy," Marcus snaps. "Should have marked you as rogue and been done with it, but Alpha Garrett felt sorry for you. Let you leave with your dignity intact." Dignity. As if being rejected by 4 different packs and told I was fundamentally wrong somehow counted as dignity. "So what now?" I ask. "You came all the way up here to remind me that I'm not wanted." Message received. "You can leave." Not that simple. Marcus crosses his arms, looking entirely too pleased with himself. "See, Alpha Garrett's decided you're a liability. Having a lone Omega this close to Packlands, refusing to bond, refusing to submit, it's unnatural. Makes other Omegas ask questions, get ideas." My blood runs cold. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying you need to come back with us. Properly. You'll join Blackridge, take your place in the pack structure, submit to Alpha Garrett's authority, and stop this ridiculous Independence Act. And if I refuse, then we drag you back and make sure you understand that refusing isn't an option." Seth's grin is ugly. "Might even let me have a taste first. You know, I've always been curious about how a broken Omega—" "Finish that sentence," I say quietly, "and I'll rip your throat out myself." He laughs, actually laughs. "You? You couldn't fight off a house cat. Try me." The third enforcer, the one I don't know, shifts his weight. "Marcus, maybe we should just—" "Shut up." Marcus's attention is fixed on me, and there's cruelty in his smile. "You're coming with us, little Omega. Whether you walk or we carry you, that's your choice. But you're done playing hermit. Time to remember your place." Every rejection I've ever endured flashes through my mind. Every time I was told I wasn't good enough, strong enough, right enough. Every time I bent, broke, begged for acceptance. Not this time. No. The word hangs in the cold air, simple and absolute. Marcus's expression darkens. "Excuse me?" I said no. I straighten my spine, lift my chin, and meet his gaze without flinching. "I'm not going anywhere with you. I'm not submitting to Garrett. I'm not joining Blackridge. And if you think you can force me, you're welcome to try." "You arrogant little—" Marcus takes a step forward, hand raised, and I see the hit coming. I brace for it, ready to fight back, to show him exactly how much I've learned about survival. But the blow never lands, because suddenly there are 4 bodies between us and them. Kale, Declan, Finn, and Reese materialize from the shadows, and I realize they must have been nearby, heard everything, waited for me to handle it my way before stepping in. They're not in wolf form, don't need to be. The sheer presence they project is enough to make the Blackridge enforcers freeze mid-motion. Kyle is directly in front of me, so close I can see the tension in his shoulders, and the energy rolling off him is apocalyptic. This isn't the gentle alpha who cooks with me. This isn't the patient male who's been carefully earning my trust. This is the king. "You were raising your hand," Kale says, his voice so low it's almost a whisper, so cold it could freeze fire. To her, in front of me, Marcus has gone pale. His eyes dart between the 4 alphas, recognition and fear warring on his face. Alpha Thorn, we weren't aware. You weren't aware that she's under my protection? Kale takes a step forward. Marcus stumbles back. You weren't aware that touching her, threatening her, speaking to her with anything less than absolute respect is a death sentence? We didn't know she was yours. She doesn't have to be mine for you to treat her like a person. Kale's voice drops even lower, deadly quiet. But since you brought it up, yes, she's ours, our Omega, our pack, and you just threatened her on her own territory. Seth has gone from predatory to terrified, backing up so fast he nearly trips. We'll leave. We'll tell Alpha Garrett this land is claimed. You'll tell Alpha Garrett, Declan rumbles, stepping forward to flank Kale, that if anyone from Blackridge comes within 5 miles of this mountain, we'll consider it an act of war, and that any past rejections, Finn adds, his usual humor completely absent, are void. She's not available. She's not alone. She's not weak, and she's sure as hell not going anywhere with you. Reese doesn't speak, just stares at them with those cold, scarred eyes, and somehow his silence is more threatening than any words. Marcus is shaking now, all his bravado gone. Alpha Thorn, we meant no disrespect to you or your... Get out. Kale doesn't raise his voice. Doesn't need to. The command is absolute, backed by power that makes the air shimmer. Before I forget that we have territorial agreements and decide your pack is better off with 3 fewer enforcers. They run. Actually turn and run like the hounds of hell are chasing them, crashing through the underbrush in their desperation to get away. The silence they leave behind is ringing. I'm shaking. Not from fear, though there was fear. Won't deny that, but from adrenaline, from rage, from the sheer overwhelming relief of not having to face them alone. The 4 alphas turn to me in unison, and the transformation is instantaneous. The deadly predators who just sent 3 enforcers running for their lives become gentle, concerned, careful. Kyle reaches me first. His hands hover near my face, not quite touching, asking permission. Are you hurt? I shake my head, not trusting my voice yet. Did he touch you before we got here? No. I had it handled. I know you did. His smile is fierce, proud. You were magnificent. Didn't flinch, didn't beg, didn't give them an inch. I'm so tired of flinching, I whisper, and my voice cracks on the words. I'm so tired of being afraid. Then don't be. Kale's hand finally makes contact, his palm cupping my cheek with devastating gentleness. Not anymore. Not with us here. They called me broken, I say, and I hate that it still hurts. Damaged goods. They're idiots. Finn appears at my other side, his eyes still holding traces of the violence he's capable of. Complete. Utter. Idiots. You're not broken, Declan adds, his deep voice surprisingly soft. You're a survivor. There's a difference. Reese just nods, but his hand settles on my shoulder, solid and grounding, and I feel the support in that simple touch. Kale's thumb brushes across my cheekbone, and his eyes are burning with intensity. You were never weak. Do you hear me? Never. They were just too blind and too stupid to see your strength. I couldn't fight them, I argue, because old insecurities die hard. If you hadn't shown up, you were handling it. We heard the whole thing. Kale's other hand comes up to frame my face, holding me gently but firmly. You stood your ground. You didn't back down. You told them no with your whole chest. That's strength. That's power. That's everything an Omega should be, fierce and sure and absolutely unwilling to accept less than they deserve. I was so scared. I admit, being scared doesn't make you weak. It makes you brave. Because you stood there anyway. A sob escapes before I can stop it, and then I'm crying, really crying for the first time since my mother died. All the years of rejection, of being told I wasn't enough, of believing I was fundamentally wrong, all of it comes pouring out. And Kale just holds me, pulls me against his chest and wraps his arms around me and lets me fall apart completely. The others move in close, surrounding us in a protective circle. Finn's hand on my back, Declan's presence solid and unwavering, Reese's quiet strength anchoring me. You're ours, Kale murmurs against my hair, And it's not a claim, it's a promise. If you want to be, no pressure, no demands. But you should know we're not going anywhere. Not after this, not ever. Those bastards were right about one thing. You're not alone anymore. I don't know how to do this, I say into his chest. I don't know how to trust, how to believe this is real. Then we'll teach you. He pulls back just enough to look at me, and the emotion in his eyes is staggering. However long it takes, we'll prove it every single day until you believe it. Why? The question bursts out of me. Why me? I'm everything they said, too guarded, too independent, too damaged. You're perfect, Kale interrupts, fierce and certain. You're exactly who we've been searching for. Strong enough to survive alone, but brave enough to let us in. Independent enough to call us out when we're being idiots, but soft enough to let us care for you. You're not too anything. You're exactly right. For us, Finn adds. You're exactly right for us. Been looking for you for years, Declan rumbles. Knew you were out there somewhere. Knew we'd know when we found you. Reese just squeezes my shoulder, but his eyes say everything his words don't. I'm crying again, but these tears are different. Not grief or fear or rejection. These are the tears you cry when something that's been broken for so long finally starts to heal. Okay, I whisper. Okay, I'll try. I'll try to trust this. Kale's smile is devastating. That's all we ask. He leans down slowly, giving me every opportunity to pull away, and presses his forehead against mine. Not a kiss. Something more intimate. A connection. A promise. You were never weak, he says again. And this time, I almost believe him. Around us, the mountain is quiet. The sun is setting, painting everything gold and amber. The cabin, my cabin, our cabin, sits solid and warm behind us, smoke curling from the chimney. And for the first time in 3 years, I'm not alone. For the first time in my life, I'm not unwanted. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, with exactly who I'm supposed to be with, and it feels like coming home. We're inside now, the fire burning low, and I'm wrapped in a blanket that smells like kale pine and smoke and something uniquely him that makes my wolf purr. The others have given us space, stepping outside to patrol the perimeter, though I suspect it's more to give Kale and me privacy than any real concern about threats. He's sitting across from me, elbows on his knees, studying me with an intensity that should make me uncomfortable but doesn't. Not anymore. There's something you need to know, he says finally, his voice careful. About why we came looking for you. Why we didn't leave after that first night. My stomach clenches. Here it comes. The revelation that makes everything make sense. The explanation that will probably hurt. Okay, you're rare. He holds up a hand when I start to protest. Not in the way those idiots from Blackridge meant. Rare in a way that matters. In a way that's powerful. I don't understand. And Kale runs a hand through his hair, and I realize he's nervous. The Alpha King is nervous. Most Omegas are bonded to a single Alpha, maybe 2 if they're lucky and the match is right. But there are some very few, maybe 1 in every 1,000 who can stabilize multiple Alphas, who can balance an entire leadership structure without breaking. The words settle over me slowly. What are you saying? I'm saying you're not broken. You were never broken. You're a multi-bond Omega. His eyes are intense, burning. Your wolf knew it even if you didn't. That's why the single Alpha packs rejected you. Your scent, your energy, everything about you was screaming that you needed more, that you were meant for something different. My breath catches. That can't be. It is. He shifts forward, urgent now. We've been searching for 5 years. 4 Alphas in a leadership pack, trying to hold everything together without the balance an Omega provides. We were starting to fracture. Fight. Lose control. And then we felt you. That night during the blizzard, we were tracking rogue activity in the area and we caught your scent on the wind, and every single one of us knew. Knew what? That we'd found you. Our Omega. The one who could hold us together. The one who was meant for all of us. Not just one. I'm shaking my head, trying to process, trying to understand. Why didn't you tell me? Because you'd been rejected so many times. Because you thought you were broken. Because telling you, hey, you're actually incredibly rare and valuable, felt like pressure. Like we wanted you for what you could do for us instead of who you are. His voice drops. And I couldn't stand the thought of you thinking that. Of you believing we only wanted you because of what you could provide. Tears are streaming down my face now. So you just stayed, fixed my cabin, hunted for me, protected me, waited for me to figure it out on my own. We wanted you to choose us because you wanted to. Not because you felt obligated. Not because you thought you didn't have other options. He reaches across the space between us, his hand hovering near mine. You have always had options. You could have sent us away at any point. You still can. Those packs, I whisper, and anger is rising now, hot and fierce. They knew. The alphas who rejected me, they knew what I was. Kale's expression darkens. I suspect some of them did, yes. Single alphas who couldn't handle a multi-bond omega, who were threatened by what you represented, who rejected you because they knew they could never be enough for you, and their egos couldn't take it. So they made me feel like I was wrong, like I was the problem. Yes. The single word is heavy with rage, not at me, but for me. And I'm so goddamn sorry that happened to you, that you spent years believing you were broken when you were actually extraordinary. I'm crying and laughing at the same time, this wild, uncontrolled sound that borders on hysterical. I'm not broken. You were never broken. They lied to me. All of them. They made me think they let me believe. I know. Kale's voice is rough with emotion. And if I could go back and prevent every single rejection, every moment of pain they caused you, I would. But I can't. All I can do is be here now, to tell you the truth, to show you that you were always exactly who you were meant to be. The anger is fading, replaced by something else. Validation. Relief. The dizzying realization that I spent 3 years punishing myself for something that was never my fault. Why are you apologizing? I ask, wiping at my tears. You didn't reject me. No, but I should have found you sooner. His eyes are bright with unshed tears of his own. You were up here alone, thinking you were unwanted, and I was out there searching. And every day I didn't find you feels like a failure. Kal. I'm sorry, he says, and his voice breaks on the words. I'm so sorry I didn't find you before you had to learn to survive alone. Before you had to build walls so high it hurts you to let anyone in. Before you stopped believing you deserved to be chosen. Stop. I'm across the space between us before I consciously decide to move, my hands framing his face the way he did mine earlier. Stop apologizing for things that weren't your fault. You found me. You stayed. You waited. That's enough. You're enough. His hands come up to cover mine, and the contact sends electricity racing through my veins. You're everything, he whispers. Do you understand that? Not because you can balance multiple alphas, not because you're rare, because you're you, because you're strong and fierce and beautiful and so goddamn brave it makes my chest ache. Because when you smile, really smile, it feels like the sun coming out. Because you're everything I've ever wanted and things I didn't know I needed. I'm scared, I admit again. This is so much. 4 alphas, a pack, a bond. What if I can't? You can. He turns his head, pressing a kiss to my palm, and the gesture is so tender it steals my breath. But you don't have to decide right now. You don't have to decide today or tomorrow or next week. We'll wait, however long you need. What if I'm not what you think I am? What if I disappoint you? Impossible. He pulls my hands down but doesn't let go, our fingers tangling together. You could never disappoint me. You're already more than I dreamed of. Outside, I hear the others returning. Finn's laugh, Declan's low rumble, Reese's quiet footsteps. My pack. Because that's what they are, isn't it? Even if I haven't said the words yet, even if I'm still figuring out how to trust this, they're mine, and I'm theirs. I'm not broken, I say again, testing the words, feeling how they fit. Kale's smile is radiant. You were never broken. They're all inside now, filling the cabin with their presence, and I'm standing by the fire because I need something to anchor me. something to focus on besides the 4 pairs of eyes watching me with identical expressions of hope and patience and barely restrained longing. I need to say something. I start, and my voice is steadier than I expected. And I need you to listen. All of you. We're listening, Kale says quietly. I take a breath, let it out slowly. I'm willing to try this. The pack, the bond, all of it. But I have terms. Finn's eyebrows shoot up. Terms? Yes, terms. Because I've spent 3 years building a life alone, and I'm not giving that up to become some submissive little Omega who exists to serve. We would never... Declan starts, but I hold up a hand. Let me finish. I meet each of their gazes in turn. I want equality, not just in words but in actions. My opinions matter. My choices matter. I'm not a pet or a possession. I'm a partner. Agreed, Kale says immediately. I want respect. For my independence, my strength, my past. I survived alone because I had to. And that's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. It is, Reese says the first words I've heard from him in days. We are proud. Of you. Of what you've survived. And I want choice. This is the hard one. The one that scares me most. I want to choose this. Every day. I want to wake up and choose to stay because I want to, not because I'm bonded and have no other option. I need to know that if things don't work, if I can't do this, I can leave and you'll let me go. The silence is heavy. Then Kale moves. He crosses the cabin in 3 strides, and before I can process what's happening, he's dropping to his knees in front of me. The Alpha King. On his knees. For me. I agree to every single term, he says, looking up at me with such raw emotion it steals my breath. Equality. Respect. Choice. Always choice. You're not a captive. You're not an obligation. You're our Omega, and that means you have power here. Over us. Over this bond. If you say no, we stop. If you say leave, we go. If you say you need space, we give it. Your word is law. Kyle. I'm not finished. His hands hover near my hips, not touching, still asking permission. You want partnership? You have it. You want respect? You've always had it, but I'll prove it every day for the rest of my life if that's what it takes. You want choice? Then choose. Right now. Choose us or choose to send us away. Choose to try or choose to stay alone. Either way, we'll honor it. I'm crying again. Can't seem to stop today. That's not fair. Why not? Because you're making it impossible to say no. My voice is shaking. You're on your knees, offering me everything I've ever wanted, and you look at me like I'm something precious. And how am I supposed to protect myself when you do that? You don't have to protect yourself. Not from us. He finally touches me, his hands settling gently on my hips. We'll protect you. From threats, from danger, from everything in this world that tried to break you. But we'll also protect you from us if that's what you need. We'll be whatever you need us to be. What if I need you to be mine? The words burst out before I can stop them. What if I need you to stop being patient and careful and just claim me? What if I'm tired of being afraid and I just want to feel wanted for once in my goddamn life? The energy in the room shifts instantly, becomes charged, electric, dangerous in the best possible way. Kale's eyes flash amber. Say that again. Claim me, I whisper. All of you. Make me yours. Make me believe this is real. He's on his feet in a heartbeat, one hand sliding into my hair, tilting my head back. You're sure? I'm terrified, but yes, I'm sure. Once we do this, he says, his voice rough, there's no going back. We'll be bonded, connected. You'll feel us. We'll feel you. Your emotions, your pain, your pleasure. Everything. Good. I reach up, my hand settling over his heart, feeling it thundering beneath my palm. I don't want to go back. I want to go forward. With you. With all of you. Kale's control snaps. His mouth crashes down on mine, and it's not gentle. It's claiming, possessive, desperate, and absolutely perfect. I open for him, letting him in, taking what he's offering, and my wolf is singing with joy. When he finally pulls back, we're both breathing hard. "Mine," he growls. "Ours," Finn corrects, appearing at my side with a grin that's pure mischief despite the heat in his eyes. "Don't get greedy, King." "Ours," Kale agrees, but his eyes don't leave mine. "Our Omega, our mate, our everything." Declan's hand settles on my shoulder, warm and grounding. "You'll never be alone again. Never unwanted," Reese adds quietly. "Never unprotected," Finn promises. "Never unloved," Kale finishes. And the word love settles into my chest like it's been waiting there all along. "I choose you," I say, and the words feel like an oath. "I choose this. I choose us." And as they surround me, 4 alphas who somehow became home, I realize something profound. I wasn't broken. I was just waiting for them, for this, for the moment when I'd finally be brave enough to choose to be chosen. And now that I have, I'm never letting go. The bond doesn't happen all at once. That's the first thing I learn. Kale pulls back from the kiss, his forehead resting against mine, both of us breathing like we've run miles. His hand is still tangled in my hair, possessive but gentle, and I can feel the restraint vibrating through him. "Not like this," he murmurs. "Not rushed. Not when you're still shaking." "I'm not," but I am. My whole body is trembling, adrenaline and emotion and desire all tangled together until I can't tell where one ends and another begins. "You are," Finn says softly, and suddenly he's there too, his hand rubbing slow circles on my back. "And that's okay. This is huge. We have time." "I thought you wanted." "We want you comfortable," Declan interrupts, his deep voice soothing. "We want you sure. We want this to be something you remember with joy, not fear." Reese appears with a blanket, wrapping it around my shoulders without a word, and the care in that simple gesture makes my throat tight. "I am sure," I insist, but my voice wavers. Kale cups my face, his thumbs brushing away tears I didn't realize were falling. "Your mouth says yes, but your body says you need a minute. We're listening to your body." "That's not fair. My body's been alone for 3 years. It doesn't know how to do this." "Then we'll teach it." His smile is soft, understanding. "We'll teach you that intimacy doesn't have to be rushed or rough or something to get through. It can be slow, safe. Ours." The word ours sends a shiver through me that has nothing to do with cold. "Sit," Kale says, guiding me toward the bed. "Let us take care of you first." "I don't need." "We know," Finn grins. "But let us anyway. Humor us." I sit, feeling awkward and overwhelmed, and watch as they move around the cabin with easy coordination. Declan builds up the fire until the room is warm and golden. Finn makes tea, somehow knowing exactly how I like it without asking. Reese pulls out extra furs and blankets, creating a nest of softness on the bed. And Kale just stays close, his hand resting on my knee, grounding me. "This is weird," I say finally. "Good weird or bad weird?" Finn asks, offering me the tea. I take it, letting the warmth seep into my hands. "I don't know yet." "Fair enough." He settles on the floor near my feet, looking up at me with those bright eyes. "For the record, you can change your mind. About any of this. About all of this. We meant what we said about choice." "I know. And I do." That's what makes this terrifying. They're not forcing anything. They're not demanding. They're just here, present, patient. I'm just not used to people wanting me without wanting something from me. "We want everything from you," Kyle says honestly. "Your trust, your time, your heart, your body. But only when you're ready to give it. Only when it feels right. What if it never feels right? What if I'm too broken after all?" "Then we'll love you broken," Declan says simply. "And we'll wait, however long it takes." The words settle into my chest, warm and solid and real. They mean it. Every word. I can feel the truth of it thrumming through the air between us. "I want this," I say quietly. "The bond. All of it. I don't know what I'm doing. Neither do we, Finn admits with a grin. We've never bonded in Omega before. We're making this up as we go. That's not reassuring. It's honest. Kale's hand squeezes my knee gently. This is new for all of us, but we'll figure it out together. I set down the tea and look at each of them in turn. 4 alphas. 4 completely different personalities. Kale with his quiet intensity, Declan with his steady strength, Finn with his bright humor, Reese with his silent devotion. And somehow, impossibly, they all fit. Okay, I breathe. Okay, teach me. Kael's expression softens. First lesson. Bonding doesn't require anything physical. Not really. It's about connection. About opening yourself up and letting us in. How? Close your eyes. His voice drops lower, hypnotic. Focus on your wolf. Feel her there, under your skin. I do. My wolf is awake, alert, practically vibrating with anticipation. Now reach out. Not with your hands, with your spirit, your essence. Whatever you want to call it. Reach for us. It sounds impossible. But I try anyway, sending out tentative threads of awareness, and, oh, I can feel them, all 4 of them, like lights in the darkness, burning bright and steady. Kale is fire intense, controlled, powerful. Declan is stone unshakable, grounding, eternal. Finn is lightning quick, bright, electric. Reese is shadow quiet, deep, protective. And they're reaching back. The moment our essences touch, everything ignites. Not painful, the opposite. Like coming home after a lifetime of wandering. Like finding a piece of yourself you didn't know was missing. Like breathing for the first time. I gasp, my eyes flying open, and Kale is right there, his forehead pressed to mine, his breath mingling with my breath. Feel that? He whispers. Yes. The word comes out broken, awed. That's us. That's the bond forming. That's what it feels like to be connected. I can't find words. It's everything. It gets stronger, Finn says, and I can hear the strain in his voice. Feel it through the bond. He's holding back, giving me space even though every instinct is telling him to claim. The more you accept it, the more you let us in. Let us in, Declan echoes. All the way. No walls, no fear, just us. I'm crying again, but these tears are different. Pure, clean, the kind you shed when something that's been broken for too long finally heals. I'm scared, I admit. We know. Reese's voice, quiet and certain. We feel it. Your fear. But we feel your hope too. And your desire. And your trust. All of it. You can feel what I feel? Everything, Kyle confirms. And you'll feel us too. Once the bond settles, our emotions, our thoughts, if you focus, our pain and pleasure, and everything in between, will be connected. Always. That's intense. His smile is crooked. You have no idea. I laugh, surprising myself. So what now? Now, Kale says, pulling back slightly. We take it slow. We build trust. We let the bond strengthen naturally instead of forcing it. But I thought, the physical claiming can wait. His eyes are burning with desire, but his control is absolute. I want you desperate for us before we take that step. I want you so sure that there's no fear left. Just need. Heat floods through me at his words, and from the way his eyes flash amber, he feels it through the bond. That's cheating, I whisper. That's honesty. He leans in, his lips brushing my ear. I can feel exactly what you want, exactly what you need, and I'm going to give it to you. But not yet. Not until you're ready. I hate you. No, you don't. He nips at my earlobe and I shiver. You're falling in love with us. We can feel that too. Arrogant. Accurate. Finn grins from his spot on the floor. We're falling too, for the record. Hard and fast and completely. All of you? All of us, Declan confirms. Reese just nods, but the warmth in his eyes says everything. And suddenly I'm laughing, really laughing, because this is insane. All of it. 4 alphas falling for a broken omega who lived alone on a mountain. 4 powerful males dropping everything to fix my cabin and hunt my food and stand between me and threats. 4 wolves looking at me like I hung the moon. It's ridiculous. It's perfect. It's mine. Okay, I say when the laughter fades. Okay, we do this your way. Slow. Building trust. But Kale, yes? I'm holding you to that promise. When I'm ready, when I'm desperate, you better follow through. His smile is wicked, promising. Oh, little Omega, when that day comes, you're not going to walk for a week. Heat explodes through the bond, and all 4 of them groan. Not helping, Finn mutters. Really, really not helping. But I'm grinning, feeling lighter than I have in years. Because this banter and heat and connection, this is real. This is mine. This is us. And I'm never letting it go. 1 year later, and everything has changed. The cabin isn't a cabin anymore. It's a home. We expanded it over the summer, added rooms, reinforced the foundation, built a proper kitchen and a bathing room that still makes me want to cry with gratitude. There's a porch now that wraps around 2 sides, perfect for watching the sunrise with morning tea or the sunset with evening wine. The clearing has been transformed too. Training grounds to the east where Declan drills pack members, gardens to the south where I grow herbs and vegetables, a meeting hall to the north where Kale conducts pack business. Because we're not just a mated group anymore, we're a pack, a real one. It started small. A few lone wolves who heard about the Alpha King in the mountains and came seeking sanctuary. Then families. Then entire groups fleeing bad situations or searching for something better. And Kale welcomed them all, because that's who he is. A king who rules with wisdom instead of fear. I'm standing on the porch now, wrapped in a thick cloak against the winter cold, watching snow fall in that same violent way it did the night they found me. But I'm not alone this time. I'm never alone anymore. Strong arms wrap around me from behind, and I lean back into Kale's solid warmth. Remembering? He murmurs against my hair. Always. Regrets? Not a single one. He turns me in his arms, and even after a year, the intensity in his eyes still makes my breath catch. I have one. My heart stumbles. What? That I didn't find you sooner. That you had to survive alone as long as you did. Kyle, I know. He presses a finger to my lips, gentle. You've told me 1,000 times it's not my fault, that the timing was perfect, that you needed those years to become who you are. I know all of that. Doesn't stop me from wishing I could have spared you the pain. I kiss his finger, then move it aside so I can speak. Those years made me strong enough to stand beside you. Not behind you, beside you. His smile is fierce, proud. My equal, always. You're Omega, I correct. There's a difference. My everything, he amends, and the word still makes my heart stutter. The door opens and Finn sticks his head out. Are you two having a moment? Because we're about to have visitors and Declan says we need to look official. Who's coming? I ask. Delegation from the council. Apparently they've finally decided to acknowledge Kale's claim to the throne. My stomach clenches. We knew this was coming. Kale isn't just an Alpha King because he's powerful. He's the Alpha King, the rightful heir to the throne that was stolen from his family 2 generations ago. He's been in exile his entire life, building power and waiting for the right moment to reclaim what's his. That moment is now. Are you ready? I ask him quietly. Are you? He counters. Because accepting that throne means you'll be queen. Luna to every pack in the Northern Territories. It means scrutiny and politics and danger. It means targets on both our backs. I know, and you're still willing? I cup his face, making him look at me. Really look. I chose you when you were just an alpha with a pack. I chose you when you were fixing my death trap cabin. I chose you every day for a year. You think I'm going to stop now just because the stakes got higher? You're terrifying, he says, but he's smiling. I'm yours. I kiss him softly. And you're mine. And we're going to walk into that meeting hall together, side by side, king and queen, mates, partners, and we're going to show them exactly what a multi-bond Omega can do. His kiss is harder this time, claiming, and the bond flares between us. I feel the others through it, Declan's steady confidence, Finn's bright excitement, Rhys's quiet support. They're inside preparing, but they're with me, always with me. When Kale pulls back, his eyes are blazing. Let's go remind the council why they should be very, very afraid of us. Now you're talking. We walk inside together, and the pack members gathered in the meeting hall turn to look. So many faces now, so many people who chose to follow Kale, who chose to stay, who look at me not with pity or dismissal but with respect. Because I earned it. I proved myself. I stand beside their king not because I'm weak and need protection, but because I'm strong and provide balance. Because a multi-bond Omega doesn't just stabilize alphas, she amplifies them, makes them better, stronger, more than they could ever be alone. Declan offers me his arm with a small smile. Finn winks from across the room. Rhys nods, silent and certain, and Kale takes his place at the head of the table, every inch the king he was born to be. The delegation arrives, all pompous ceremony and thinly veiled condescension, until they see us. Until they feel the power radiating from our bond. Until they realize that dismissing Kale means going through all of us, and we are not to be dismissed. The meeting is long, political, full of carefully worded threats and thinly veiled power plays, but in the end, they have no choice. Kale is the rightful heir, the packs are rallying to him, and with me at his side, with 3 other powerful alphas backing him, with a growing pack that's loyal to the bone, he's unstoppable. They acknowledge his claim. They bend the knee. They leave looking shaken and angry and afraid. Good. They should be afraid. Because we're not playing by their old rules anymore. We're writing new ones, where Omegas are equal, where strength is measured in loyalty instead of cruelty, where chosen bonds matter more than forced ones. When the hall finally empties, when it's just the 5 of us again, Finn lets out a whoop. Did you see their faces? I thought that one old alpha was going to stroke out. Finn, Declan warns, but he's grinning. What? It was hilarious. Kale turns to me, and the pride in his eyes makes my chest swell. You were magnificent. I barely said anything. You didn't have to. You stood there, radiating power and confidence. And they couldn't look away. They know now. They know what we are. What you are. What we are together, I correct, reaching for him. For all of them. None of this works without all of us. Agreed, Rhys murmurs, and his hand settles on my shoulder. Grounding. Sure. I look around at my home, my pack, my mates, and I think about the girl I was a year ago alone, afraid, convinced she was broken and unwanted. She's still here, that girl. She's part of me. But she's not all of me anymore, because I chose to trust. I chose to hope. I chose to believe that maybe, just maybe, I was worth choosing. And 4 black wolves looked at me and decided the world was wrong. They saw strength where others saw weakness. They saw potential where others saw damage. They saw a queen where others saw a reject. And they chose me. Every single day they choose me, the way I choose them. The snow is still falling outside. The fire is warm. My mates are close. And for the first time in my entire life, I know exactly where I belong. Right here. Right now. Chosen. Wanted. Cherished. Home. No one wanted this Omega. Until 4 black wolves looked at me and decided the world was wrong. Thank you for listening to another emotional, magical shifter romance here on Tina Romance Library. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, so you never miss more powerful, heart-gripping romance stories.